All right, so look, there's a lot of fun to be had this summer, but remember, it's not fun if you have to deal with pesky bug bites. And here with some summer tips for your pet and for yourself is Dr. Matt Iseman and Laura Nativo. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. That really is one of the things that can ruin a day out, is just getting feasted on by insects.
Well, wait a minute. Let's just get a shot. Let's just get a shot.
Delilah.
Good girl.
Delilah heard.
Yeah,
Good
girl.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I got bit during that modeling segment. I have
did?
a bug bite right there. It's terrible.
By a bee?
Oh.
Not a bee.
Probably a little
Tick?
spider or
A little
something.
Well,
spider?
how do you, a bee, let's talk about
Let's
bees,
talk
because
about
you
bees.
see bees and they run, you know, my kids run for the hills. But how do you treat?
So one of the things is people often wonder, was it a bee or was it a wasp? And I think we've got a couple pictures here to help you identify. Bees, I like to say, are the chubbier looking ones, a little furrier.
Yeah.
The wasp, a little more lean, a little more mean looking. But what's more important is the stinger. If you get stung by a bee, they can leave a venom sac there. And this becomes crucial because with that sting, you tend to want to pinch it and pull it right out. But if you do, you can actually grab that venom sac. You can squeeze the venom and actually inject it, which makes the sting worse. So when you get stung and you see a venom sac there, or if you're not sure, the way to get the stinger out, instead of using your fingers, take a credit card and use a scraping motion.
What does that do?
Just go along your arm. And what you're doing is you're removing the stinger without trying to agitate the sac. So it's just kind of a little move. You just want to go into the stinger and pop it out.
But if it's in you and you have to go look for your credit card, aren't you? I'm always worried that it's going to go in and it's going to kill me. The venom is going to go right to my heart
Well,
and
the
stop
good
my
news
heart.
is, look, unless you have a severe allergy, for the most part, the bee sting is just going to be a little irritating.
Okay.
And the ways you do it, once you get that stinger out, you just wash it with soap and water, put an ice pack on it. You can take Tylenol or ibuprofen. You can take a little bit of Benadryl. This is really irritating Delilah, isn't it? But here's the key.
I'm so sorry that my pillows got in your way, Delilah. Okay, she didn't like the pillows.
Usually
okay.
it's me
Okay.
your pillows.
All right.
So you go to the doctor. If you start having shortness of breath, if the rash starts spreading, or if symptoms don't abate within a day or two. Those are the signs to go get checked out.
Now, what about our puppies if they get
With
stung?
our puppies, a lot of times you'll see their face, if they get stung in their cheeks, they swell up. You can see it. That was my impersonation of a dog. Sometimes their paws, you might notice they're lifting their paws and it could be under their paws. So you want to look for signs of swelling. Symptoms that they might be allergic is if they start vomiting, diarrhea.
We have a picture. I just want to say it. I don't want to interrupt you, but it's a graphic shot of a dog that's been bitten. So you can see in the eye.
And this is actually Shanti's puppy.
No.
This is Shanti's dog.
Stung by a bee, a bee.
Stung by a bee. And so you want to make sure that you get your dog to the vet right away. You can do a baking soda and water kind of paste to help soothe. You can add a cold compress, but you want to get to the vet because you don't know if your dog's allergic or your cat. You want to make sure that you take them in. That way, if they need Benadryl or any type of medicine.
How many of your dogs, like, they bite the bees, and then how can you tell if it's in their mouth? Because my dog swallows bees.
So common. So many dogs, they like to chase bees and flies. You can usually tell that if they're in pain and their face swells up. So if there's any question, I always recommend to take your dog
If they
to the
start
vet.
looking like a real housewife from Beverly Hills, I kind of.
If they start taking duck face selfies,
Oh my gosh, okay.
All right, let's move on to the spiders.
Spiders, arachnophobia, this is a fear so many people have. Let me put your mind at ease. The vast majority of spider bites aren't concerning. As we put up one of the ones that is a black widow spider. And this one is so common. You see it, that shiny black body with the hourglass on the bottom. The other spider that's toxic in North America, the brown recluse. And this one's a smaller spider, less than an inch big. And one of the ways to identify it is on its back. You can see that kind of faint outline. It looks like, they call it, it looks like a violin. So one of the nicknames of this spider is the fiddleback spider. Brown recluse is found in the Middle America and in the South. If it's named a recluse for a reason, this is a spider that tends to avoid areas for humans, so you'll find it in your attic, in your garage, in the porch, in wood piles. If you get bitten by this spider, it's a bite that sometimes is painless. You won't notice it until about 24 hours. You'll start to see blistering. For this one, you do want to go in to see the doctor. Black widow, similar thing. You can see some of the signs of the bite, but you'll start to feel cramping.
Will they kill you? Will those bites kill you?
Unless you're very weak or very small, no, it's just irritating. But those spiders are ones where you do want to, if possible, bring the spider in so the physician knows what bit you, and then go in to seek medical care for those.
What about our pets?
Same thing for our pets. Black widows, brown recluse, they can actually be fatal. And a lot of times you don't know if your dog has been bitten, so you want to look for signs of muscle cramping, shaking, things like that, or if you actually see the bite on them and you don't know what it is, you want to get them into the vet, because especially with really old dogs or younger dogs who don't have a very healthy immune system, they can be fatal. So you want to get them in. Usually the vet will do a chemical blood panel, a urinalysis. Sometimes they need to hydrate your dog and kind of keep them monitored just to make sure that they don't have a severe reaction.
Okay, let's talk about the ticks.
Yeah.
Now, ticks. Let's start with people.
Not just for farm dogs.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
ticks are a really big problem, and there are a lot of misconceptions about ticks. But the most important thing with ticks is identifying them. So if you, or more importantly, your children have been out in a wooded area, you need to check them out for ticks. And this means the most common areas where they'll get them can be in the scalp, behind their ears, on their neck, in their armpits, in the groin area, behind their knees, and in their feet. So when they come in, shower. Now, if you do see a tick, the key is to get it out. And this is where there are a lot of misconceptions. People talk about putting Vaseline on it or burning it with the end of a cigarette or a match. That's actually not a great way to do it. That worked with some of the ticks, but we're actually seeing a rise of a different type of tick that if you use those methods, it'll actually burrow in, it'll tend to inject its saliva or transmit the disease more likely. So what you want to do, take tweezers, pinch that tick as close to the head as possible and pull up using gentle force. Don't twist it, don't do anything. That's when you can start pulling off its head and leaving some of the infectious causing agents.
I was going to ask you that before we get to the dog situation. A tick won't give you venom. It's whether, like a spider bite will do or a bee or whatnot.
You're not so concerned about that. You're concerned about the diseases that they carry.
And not
like
all
Lyme
of them
We're
carry
seeing a
them?
huge rise in Lyme disease in dogs as well as with people. So you want to make sure that not only do you use either tweezers, or with dogs you can use a tick key, but you want to make sure that you save the tick, put it into a Ziploc bag, take it to the veterinarian. That way you know what you're up against and your dog can receive antibiotics because they can be deadly. And a lot of people don't realize, especially it's summertime, we're out hiking, we're enjoying ourselves. So you want to make sure that every time you take your dog out into the field or hiking, check their paws, check behind the ears. That is a tick that's filled with blood, and removing these is so gross. I've had them on
I like popping them.
Oh my God. I've had them on his poor little groin area and his ears. It can be so painful. And this is one of the reasons I highly recommend training your dog to be handled, because if this happens, it can be really uncomfortable for them. And again, you want to get them into the veterinarian to make sure they're
Good
okay.
information.
Thank you, guys.
May you have a bug-free or at least a bite-free summer.
And I collected all the pillows from the couch because
And
Delilah doesn't like them.
We're going to come back and we're going to stop in and see Sandy Newton.